According to market research I just made up, more and more consumers are looking for larger, sturdier headlamps that use 18650 sized lithium-ion batteries. Not only does it allow you to make more size does matter theme jokes, there are quite a few practical reasons to look at them as well. The two main reasons why you'd probably want one is because they're often brighter and have longer run times over their smaller counterparts. There's probably a joke in that last sentence too. Anyway, flashlight manufacturer Skilhunt has just released the H02, a multi-purpose light that can function as a headlamp, a work lamp, and a right-angle clip light. And if it laughed at your terrible jokes, it also might be considered your best friend. So, let's go over the basics first. The headlamp uses the common Cree XML2 LED emitter with a cool white tint. The light is covered in a Type 3 hard anodization, which resists scratches, abrasions, and maybe criticism. I'm not sure about that last part. In place of a traditional lens, we have a coated glass TIR optic, which helps scatter the light better than a standard glass lens, and it scatters it over a wider area, meaning that the beam doesn't throw as far as a traditional flashlight. The light can accept protected or unprotected 18650 size lithium-ion batteries, so it accommodates risk takers and the risk adverse. And as an added bonus for people who like to use batteries that they can throw away, the light also accepts two CR123 or two RCR123 3-volt lithium batteries. All tests done in this video use a ShowShine 3400 milliamp hour lithium-ion rechargeable battery. The H02 has 4 regular PWM-free output modes and a hidden strobe mode. The manufacturer specs are as follows for the 4 modes. Level 4 outputs 5 lumens for 120 hours. Level 3 outputs 280 lumens for 4 hours. Level 2 outputs 550 lumens for 1 hour and 45 minutes. Level 1 outputs 820 lumens for 1 hour. To operate the flashlight user interface, follow my instructions. The user interface is just a complicated flashlight science term for mode operation. Give it a single press to turn it on, and continue to give it a short press to scroll endlessly through the 4 main modes. It goes from lowest to highest mode, then starts over with low. To turn it off, give it a nice long press. To access strobe mode, turn on the light, then give it a double click, kind of like a mouse. Press a button or turn it off to exit strobe mode. There's also shortcuts to low and high mode from off. To access low mode from off, press and hold the button to turn it on. Okay, now turn it off again. The second shortcut allows you to go to high mode. To do this, give it a double click. Cool, now you know a little flashlight science. Okay, what comes in the box? You get this cardboard thing, this plastic thing, you get the light, a clip, a lanyard, instructions, a sweet warranty card, some killer O-rings for replacing the seal around the tail cap or replacing the tail cap magnet. And you also get the headband, which although comes in a separate packaging, Skilhunt lists it as coming with the headlamp. Skilhunt sent me this light for review, so this is the part of the review I'll test runtimes and compare the brightness to other similar flashlights. Time tests are a series of still photographs taken at intervals during the runtime of the light using a fresh battery, because I figured using a half-charged battery wouldn't benefit flashlight science very much. Alright, here's mode 1, which steps down fairly quickly to an equivalent of high mode. Then it sustains 2.5 hours of brightness before tapering off. I let the light run for about 4.5 hours before ending the test when it was still outputting light. Level 2 behaves nearly the same as the first mode, except without an initial double brightness. It runs pretty much the same time as level 1, I stopped taking photos a bit early, but I let it run for over 4.5 hours. Level 3 is probably the most useful as it holds steady for over 5 hours at a near constant brightness before a big decline in brightness. As with other runtime tests, there was still light coming out of the light when I ended the test. And for time constraints, I did not test mode 4, which the manufacturer rates at 4 lumens for 120 hours. So make sure you don't get lost for days in a place with no light, and you should be good. But that's easier said than done, right? Next up are a few comparative beam shots between similar output headlamps and flashlights. It illustrates the difference between what a flashlight does well and what a headlamp does well. I set all the lights to their maximum modes and kept the camera settings the same because of science. And while we're at it, how about some beam profile still photos? So a few additional things to note about the light. It's waterproof to IPX8 standards. So for testing purposes, I placed the light in the stream off and on for about half an hour and it worked just fine. I probably would not use this as a diving light though. Not that the light leaked, but they do make specialized dive lights. It has a magnet in the tail cap, so if you were wondering, like, magnets, how do they work? Well, it just means a light can stick to a variety of metallic surfaces. It's not some kind of miracle juggalo. Otherwise, it can be clipped to your bag or mounted to your big, beautiful head. And before I wrap it up, I'll compare it to my favorite headlamp, the Armytek Wizard Pro. The Armytek Wizard Pro costs about twice the amount of the Skilhunt, so bear this in mind if you like saving or spending money. Also, like the name may imply, it's not magical. The first thing to note is the anodization. Armytek uses a matte, tactile anodization not found on any other flashlight. It grips well in the wet and really resists scratches. The Skilhunt also has a industry standard Type 3 anodization, but I prefer the Armytek's. If you wear it on your head more than you use it in your hand, this isn't a big deal. Or maybe it's not a big deal because you don't sweat the small stuff. The Armytek doesn't have a magnet in the tail cap, so it probably loses a point for broad functionality and for people who love magnets. The Armytek is also smaller than the Skilhunt. No judgment there though. While the H02 has 4 modes, the Armytek includes 7 modes, because more is better, right? This also includes a much lower moonlight mode, which is really helpful when you only need a tiny bit of light in the middle of the night and don't want to burn out your retinas. Another thing to note is that the Wizard Pro has a cooler name, and the runtimes are a bit better as well on the Wizard Pro. Both include nice clips, so they can be used as clip lights for fashion accessories for the fashion backward. So, to sum it up, Skilhunt has created a fine, mid-priced headlamp that includes a ton of functionality out of the box. The mode spacing could definitely see some improvement, maybe by spacing the mode 3 level a bit lower to differentiate it from the mode 2, and make maybe mode 4 a moonlight mode. As far as fit and finish and quality, I see no problems recommending this light. Thanks for watching, and be sure to visit www.skilhunt.com for purchasing, pricing, and questions.